Maybe you've heard that the new tariffs are making everything more expensive in the US. Over the last couple months, headlines have talked about rising shipping costs and material shortages. But here's the real story that a lot of people are missing. This might be the best time in years to build a top Etsy shop, especially if you're located in the US or you know how to pivot smart. Today, I'll show you exactly how tariffs are reshaping Etsy and how sellers who act now could rise to the top. My name's Dylan Jahraus. I'm an e-commerce expert of 13 years, and I help Etsy sellers grow, scale, and win even when the rules change. If you've been wondering how to adjust your pricing, sourcing, and strategy during this time of global change, you're in the right place. And if you're watching this from outside of the US, stick around because there's a game-changing shift for you too. In 2025, the US expanded tariffs on a wide range of imported goods. And the goal here was to incentivize domestic manufacturing and reduce dependency on overseas production. For small business owners, especially Etsy sellers, this means that certain imported materials, blanks, and finished goods now come with a higher cost. But here's the truth. With every economic shift, there's new opportunity. So instead of sulking in this situation, let's put on our big girl pants and figure this out. If you're making your products in the US or can source domestically, you are positioned to win. But if you've been relying on low-cost imports, there's still time to pivot. Let's break this down by the type of Etsy seller you might be. So for print-on-demand sellers, if your print-on-demand partner uses US-based blanks and manufacturing, your fulfillment becomes a strength. Now this is faster, cheaper for US customers, and less uncertainty compared to buying something from overseas. This is also your chance to brand your shop as fulfilled in the USA or made in the USA and build that customer loyalty on speed, quality, and reliability. For handmade shops that source local materials, you could have a cost advantage over shops that are importing materials from overseas. You could also position your brand with stronger storytelling. This means you should highlight local, domestic craftsmanship, ethical sourcing, and fast fulfillment. Those are all really strong angles that you should be taking in your brand story. Now, let's say you're in the sourced by a seller category. If you are reselling products or using categories that allow drop shipping, tariffs may affect your base cost. However, this also levels the playing field by narrowing that price gap between you and larger overseas suppliers. So yes, your prices went up, but the cost for a US customer to buy that same thing from overseas, it will honestly cost them so much more that they'd probably just buy it from you. If you're in the sourced category, by curating unique, high margin or US made items, you can really stand out from generic imports. Now, let's talk about the hidden advantage that no one's talking about. You now have fewer competitors on price alone. And competing on price is one of the worst ways that you would have wanted to compete anyways. This means that US-based Etsy sellers can emphasize faster delivery and local production. And consumers increasingly care about domestic products and supporting local businesses. So this is a marketing edge. Sellers with strong branding and smart sourcing, they can win in this new economy. This shift also creates a window of opportunity for new sellers who want to rise and grow quickly, because the old pricing race to the bottom is no longer the only game in town. And suddenly the focus will be competing in many ways outside of price. More established sellers, they are going to have to come up with all of these new ways to compete that they're not used to. And sometimes that's turnaround time, that's quality, that's customer experience or customer service. It could be the customization options that you offer. It could be your branding, elevated photography. So let's boil this down to 5 steps that you can use to win right now. Step number 1 is to review your supply chain. Audit your inputs. Basically, what are you buying that's imported and what are you buying that is local? You're going to want to look for alternatives that you can source domestically, because even at a slightly higher cost, reliability and speed can justify that switch. The second step is to lean into local in your marketing. I put local in quotations because this is a messaging angle. We want to use messaging like made in the USA, fast US shipping, support local artists. You can even add these as overlays to your product photos and your listing images and your banners so that everywhere people look in your shop, they know that this is local and they're supporting a US-based shop. Step number 3 is to optimize pricing, not just lower it. We want to raise perceived value through branding, lifestyle photography, and smart bundling. What we'll do is be using 2 different variations in every single listing to offer different upsells and tiered pricing. We're also going to be emphasizing in our listing what makes our products different. So this could be quality, the meaning or the process behind your products, or your speed of fulfillment. This is the time to level up the other areas of your listings and of your shop so that you can justify higher pricing. And it's called increasing your value proposition. And your value proposition, it's simply the combination of your listing photo and your price point. To win with that, it doesn't just mean have the cheapest price, it also means you can add value to your listing photo. The fourth step is to target the right buyers. We want to think about high-income consumers who are less price sensitive, and they prioritize and they'll pay more for both quality and speed. We want to position your brand to attract this type of customer, and this is by optimizing for the aesthetic that they are attracted to, by focusing on the giftability of your products, and by just having premium design. So this means probably removing a lot of listings from your shop that do not attract a profitable customer. Let's say you want to sell to women. Well, would you rather sell to the 21-year-old broke college student, or would you rather sell to the 32-year-old Pottery Barn mom who spent $600 on a set of crib sheets? Who would you rather rely on for your income and for paying your bills? And that's why we have to focus on a profitable customer and position our brand for that type of customer. This is not the time to try to be everything to everyone or to try to be the cheapest option. Step 5 is to test and adapt. So as global costs shift, which they always will, so should your strategy. You have to stay agile. Use Etsy stats, Google Trends, Pinterest trends, and monitor what's working. Now, this last part is for those international sellers. And here's the twist that most international sellers haven't realized. A lot of international shops are going to decide it's not worth trying to figure out. This means, 1, less competition for you, but 2, we have to remember you can still win in targeting a US customer even without shipping things from overseas. And thanks to the rise of domestic production partners in the US, international shops can pivot to a local production, global design model, which means they are designing something and orchestrating this from their country, but they are leveraging local production inside of the US. How are they supposed to do this? Well, the first, most obvious way is to partner with US-based print-on-demand providers like Printify or Gelato, and you can use those production partners to fulfill orders inside of the US. But the second way is one that most people don't think about, and this is to work with mom-and-pop manufacturers who are based inside the US. Maybe they do laser engraving, embroidery, maybe they make trophies, or maybe they do hand assembly of things inside US cities. And the next option is to license your designs or partner with fulfillment warehouses that are near your customer's base. This change removes the biggest constraints, which were long shipping times, custom delays, high international freight costs, and tariffs. Now your overseas shop can compete like a local US shop, scaling with speed and flexibility. Honestly, this might not just be a workaround for you, but this might take your business model from unscalable to now your most scalable business model yet. So I challenge you to see this as an opportunity. Now, is it easy? No. But if it was easy, then everyone would do this. If anything, this will decrease the amount of competition for you. So here's the truth about the new tariff landscape. It does not have to be a roadblock. It can be a reset. US sellers who adapt can rise quickly with better margins, stronger branding, and faster shipping. International sellers can still dominate by going local with US-based production partners. So now is the time to ask, how can I pivot to compete in this new landscape, not next year, but today? And if this video helps you think differently about your strategy, definitely drop a comment and let me know what your biggest sourcing challenge is right now. And if you want help finding US-based production partners, we have a coaching call that we did on this inside of our platform. So if you are in our community, go over there and check it out. And if you'd like to learn more about building out your digital product mix so tariffs don't even apply, check out this next video.